A 12-hour judgment that sent some into raptures and others back to the drawing board. We will review the proceedings and the final statements from the Presidential Election Petition Court affirming the victory of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the APC in the 2023 presidential election. As we get closer to the race to the government houses of Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi State, we will look at those in the race and their plans for their people. One we will be talking to in the course of the program. We have these and more on the lineup today. I am Fisayo Ogunfui. Welcome. The Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja this week affirmed the declaration and return of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the duly elected President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The five-man panel of justices, led by Justice Aruna Simon Samani, gave the verdict in the unanimous decision of the court on 3 consolidated petitions. Dele Atumbi reports that the court dismissed all 3 consolidated petitions for lacking in merit. The petitions dismissed are that of the Allied People's Movement APM, Peter Obi and Labour Party, and that of Atiku Abubakar with the PDP, and the five-man panel of justices affirmed the equality of votes cast in all parts of the country.
After the conduct of the 2023 presidential election on the 25th February, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was declared and returned as president, 5 political parties and their candidates filed petitions before the Presidential Election Petition Court sitting in Abuja. The petitioners at the initial stage were Action People's Party, Action Alliance, Allied People's Movement, Atiku Abubakar, PDP, as well as Peter Obi and Labour Party. During the pre-hearing section, Action People's Party and Action Alliance withdrew their petitions. The 3 remaining petitions were consolidated by the order of the court. In the petition filed by Atiku Abubakar and PDP, the petitioners called 27 witnesses and tendered several documents. In its verdict, the Presidential Election Petition Court resolved all the 4 issues in the petition against the petitioners. In a well-considered verdict, the court dismissed all the 3 consolidated petitions for lacking in merit.
Today is a great day for Nigeria. The Nigerian judiciary had proved itself to be the guardians for justice and fairness against the sirens of deception. It's a battle between the will of the people and the forces of misinformation and disinformation. But democracy has finally triumphed.
Counsel to Atiku Abubakar and that of Peter Obi react.
The judgment has been delivered, but we have not received justice. Luckily, the Constitution has given us the right to go on appeal. This is a court of first instance, to go on appeal to the Supreme Court.
Our clients are dissatisfied with the judgment, and they have given us instruction to go on appeal.
The petitioners filed their petitions on 21st March 2023.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has assured Nigerians of his renewed and energized focus on delivering his vision of unified, peaceful and prosperous nation following the judgment by the Presidential Election Petition Court in Abuja. In a statement by his Special Advisor Media and Publicity Ajuri Ngalale, President Tinubu applauded the diligence, thoroughness and professionalism of the 5-member bench in interpreting the law. He affirms that the judgment exhibited thoroughness and professionalism. We will take other reactions as well, talking about the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court.
The National Working Committee lauded the court verdict across all petitions filed by opposition parties aimed at undermining a democratic process that was credible, free, fair, and transparent.
The judgment has also reinforced that our party won and emphatically won the presidential election on February 25, 2023, beyond any doubt.
The National Secretary says opposition parties did well by approaching the court for redress and urged them to join hands with the governing All Progressives Party in transforming the country.
Our campaign planked on the unity and our message of renewed hope obviously resonated with Nigerians at home and in diaspora.
The National Working Committee also received Conference of State Secretaries of the All Progressives Congress APC on a congratulatory visit following outcome of yesterday's court judgment, and also tendered some salient appeals. The National Secretary appreciates the conference and urged it to remain resolute and steadfast in solidifying party structures at sub-national level, and promised to study their request and act appropriately. In Abuja, Abubakar Akwanga, NTA News.
This is a One Agenda media briefing. Reaction to the presidential election petition court judgment that declared President Bola Tinubu winner of the 2023 presidential election. With the message, let's keep hope alive. PDP acting national chairman Ambassador Umar Iliadamagun believes that the judgment of the election petition court fell short of the party's expectations.
Both law and facts were visibly thrown overboard.
The presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, on his part, explained that his decision to go to court is anchored in the belief that the court is the sanctuary of justice for the journey of his political career, holds so much to the courage and fearless decisions of the judiciary.
I am therefore here to tell you that though the judgment of the court yesterday is respected, it is a judgment that I refuse to accept.
The PDP presidential candidate notes that his ultimate goal in the pursuit of justice is to ensure that democracy is further strengthened through the principles and processes of fair hearing. Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Now to our discussion today. The man says he wants to be the next governor of Kogi State. We will look at a discussion earlier with Vice Admiral Jobrin, former Chief of Naval Staff, and the governorship candidate of the Accord Party in Kogi State. You have shed the khaki for civilian attire. How has the transition been? Because the rules of engagement when you are in uniform is quite different to the dances you see in the podium when you play politics.
In most cases, internally, the military is deployed to assist the police. Essentially, that is when we are involved in internal security. And in most cases, when we do the job, we do it only when we are called upon to assist the police. And to an extent, when it gets too high and it snowballs up to war, then of course, the military is required to take over from the police, like we have the insurgency in the northeast, especially the Boko Haram, the ASIL. So for that reason, I can tell you that in every facet of our life, we are always in touch with the civil populace and making sure that democracy endures.
So what informed this your choice of from watching on the sidelines before to actually becoming a player in the political sphere?
In my contemporary life, I'm an individual that has enjoyed this country so well. Through training, I've gone to so many countries of the world, and I've seen how democracy flourish. And I can tell you that we want to be part of it to ensure that our democracy endures, like I said. We want to make sure that democracy leads to sustenance of development. For that reason, I've seen so many things going wrong in my part of Nigeria, specifically Kogi State. There are so many things in Kogi State that are waiting to be tapped, especially our level of natural resources as we have. In Nigeria today, no state is as endowed than Kogi. Of the various solid minerals that we have in Nigeria, many of them are domiciled in Kogi State. And of recent, we have just discovered an oil in an area called Ibaji. So you'll be wondering, why are we having the type of solid state that we have today in Kogi State?
Yeah, before I go to your, because before I, we get to the point of you sharing your ideas, let's look at some of your choices. Why Accord Party? Was it a deliberate choice, or Accord itself, is it a child of circumstance in terms of why you decided to pick this party for the platform of your, political journey?
Before I got to Accord, I was a principal person, a leader of APC in my state. I came from the TSG, Tinubu Support Group, and then discovered that, look, we have an individual there that all of us from Kogi thought that for equitable distribution of power, that if an Oku man was given the benefit, was given the leadership that my party decides to give an Oku man, then Igala people were going to be appeased. We were going to appeal to them that they should allow Oku man to take over, because Igalas, they've heard it, and the incumbent is an Igira man, then why not Oku? And that was what we were thinking within the party, APC. That when that was not to be, I really wanted to extend his stay through Ududu in what we call an third term agenda through the back door, because the level of influence that he will have on Ududu will be overbearing, and with that, development will elude Kogi State for a very long while. We say, look, the only way is to go on a rescue mission, that we need to rescue this leadership position from Yahya, not to entrench himself as a permanent leader of Kogi State. And again, they had finished what was screening in my party, and were ready to go for primaries, and I felt, look, I will not go there because they finished the sale of forms. And I said, look, my friend, we need to do something tangible. With the extension of time, it incumbent on me to go to another party. Hence, I found myself in Accord, so that Yabelo's interest could be checked.
All right, let's talk about your interests, and that is what you have shared in terms of, put the potentials in your state. Having discussed this with, people in your zone as well as some other parts of the state, how have you been accepted? Your concept, your party, your plans?
Well, when I went into the ring, I decided that the first thing I should do this time, and doing it differently from what I did in 2019, was to embark on holistic tour of the state. And I started with Kogi East. In Kogi East, I went through 27 districts in the 9 local governments. And then I saw the level of decay and felt, look, in all our facets of life, in every aspect of our life, my people are being affected negatively. The state of the roads.
When you say your people, are you talking of just Kogi East?
No, I'm talking of the whole state. The whole state. And whatever happened in any part of Kogi State has its resemblance in other parts. For example, there's no discrimination in the percentage salary that is being paid to our civil servants in Kogi State. And for that reason, you can see that all of us are going through the same problem. The state of affairs generally is bad. And I feel that if I'm to address one by one, you will discover that the most daunting problem that we face today is security, and to an extent, the economy, because our people have been left to suffer in abject poverty. And I think we need to do something drastic about that. And that is why some of us say, look, there is need for a paradigm shift. Hence, the rescue mission of mine.
All right, the agitation from Yagba West, how would you tackle that? Since you are not from there, and you are equally protesting that they should, perhaps it would be logical for power to shift in that direction. What would you be doing to perhaps ameliorate that aspect of their agitations? Because even if you were to scuttle whatever you have described as perpetuating oneself in power, you will still not be taking power to Yagba West, would you?
Good question. 2019, that was part of what I was telling everybody. That look, after Irama, they should go to Okun. And for that reason, in my party, my former party, APC, we felt, look, if the present governor bequeaths power to an Okuma, so be it. So right now, what we need to do is to tell you that, look, to make politics a tribal issue, to me, it's an absurd. All my people are aiming for is development. But what will I do differently so that Okun people will feel sense of belonging? Is to tell you that, look, once I'm there, I'll set up a committee that will look at this issue and see how we can enthrone rotational arrangement that could be seen to be enduring, but then the focus must be based on development. That if, for example, Yabedo and Ibiraman was able to take us to the zenith, we won't be shouting the way we are shouting today.
Okay, let's move, to your plans. In accord with some other people, because politics is a game of numbers.
I look at all the parties. By the time I was leaving APC, and I felt that, look, if I want to have affinity with my people, if I want to be close to them, then I must have an accord with my people. Hence the choice of Accord Party. The Accord Party as we have today, I can tell you that on its own is a movement. People that are dissatisfied from other parties are right with me because of the way the various political primaries were conducted. And recently, 10 political parties decided to join me. And for that reason, I can see myself a formidable factor in the race. Now, alliance is key. All of us should learn from how APC was formed. If you take the 3 major tribes as we have today, or the 3 geographical senatorial districts that we have in Kogi today, no party can win an election alone without collaborating with others. Yes, the Galas, they have a population, but their population cannot guarantee everything because there are only 9 local governments, and you must have at least 25% of 40 local governments before INEC can declare you the winner, hence the governor of the state. So with only 9 and you need 14, then there is need for you to embark on an alignment with others. And of course, based on that, I looked into it and came up with a strategic move of having an Okuman as my running mate.
Okay, beyond that, let's look at some stories that have emerged from your state. I'm not sure how true they are. Some key political figures have been rumored to say they are stepping back from supporting you. Is that true? And what have you done, perhaps, to build fences?
It is not true, because there was a press release. One of the leaders that was accused was alleged to have been involved in what I would describe as a movement not authorized by the body. Openly addressed the nation and said there was nothing like that we're still together and there's no problem about that. This can be likened to what I've been reading every day. Even as I'm talking to you now, if you step out, you may hear that I've stepped down. I've stepped down for SDP candidate more than 20 times. And that has become, I think it's now, stepping down has become coterminous with SDP. I've never stepped down for any candidate when I think that I am the acceptable candidate. I'm the only one that everybody is looking towards to address the insecurity as well based on my background. And topically is to tell you that I went into the race so that my people can still be there, 2 eyes closed. So whatever I had has been debunked, and a press release made to that effect. And I think my co-guys would vote for me because of my antecedents. Even when I was not the governor of Kogi State, what I was able to do in 1 year, 6 months to my people is such that my people are begging for me to come and say, look, take over this. Even when the resources of the state were not in your hands, you were doing so much. Now that if I'm given the opportunity to be the governor, don't you think I will do excellently well?
Well, before I let you go this excellently well, I want you to say a word or two about your ideas of governance and what you want to bring to bear very quickly.
If Almighty grants me the permission to be the governor of Kogi State, I'll first of all tell you that I'll look at Kogi State as a new baby that has just gotten independence from Nigeria, but not in the context which you may want to. But that I must come up new ideas, new initiatives that will drive the machine called Kogi to an enviable height. Do you know that this state has all it takes, but with the available raw materials that we have, everything must be tailored towards human capital. The human capital development, the human resources that we have in Kogi State are unbeatable. But all they are waiting for is how do you harness this knowledge? How do you bring them together for the development of the state? That is key. And then we talk about our youth, for example. You know, this year, the world was celebrating the Youth Day, came up with green skills for youth towards sustainable world. What does that mean? It beckons on us to realize that the youths are the engines that can propel the state for enviable height development. You see, in my state today, people cannot talk freely because they are afraid of either being picked from their houses, and who is picking them, we don't know. Because we need people that can say, look, this must stop. And how will you stop it? Creation of jobs. There are so many avenues that we can improve our IGR. Once we have this, once the IGR is improved, all our teeming youths that graduated from various institutions can be employed.
And that discussion rounds off Beat some political update today. Don't forget to continue to play your politics for the greater good and keep it locked on the Nigerian television, Africa's finest and largest television network for news, reviews, previews, and interviews. My name is Fisai Ogunfui. Thanking you for staying tuned. All the best. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye-bye now.